Today I'm going to show you how to make chord progressions in Ableton even if you don't know any music theory. So I'll be honest with you, my music theory is not that good. I know the very basics, but I don't play piano. I don't really know how to make piano chords. And obviously when we're working with MIDI, it's kind of like using a piano. So here's the hack. If you don't know how to do it and you just want to start creating some chords, listen up, follow along. First things first, we got a MIDI track here. We got our sound loaded up on it. All right, so now we're just going to highlight a couple bars here. We're going to highlight the section that we want to input some MIDI in, just like that. You're going to right click that. You're going to hit insert, empty, MIDI clip, boom. There we go. Now we can start putting in some MIDI here. As you can see, the piano roll has automatically loaded up. Now we're staring at this and we're like, where do we even begin? This is crazy. I have no idea where to begin. Just looking at this, I feel like overwhelmed, right? So here's all you have to do. Okay, very simple. On your left-hand side where you see this clip button, okay, you will see various options. The first one is going to be clip, right? Make sure that the drop-down arrow is selected so that you can actually see what I'm seeing here, right? If it's folded like this, you got to make sure it's open. Okay, so open up the clip section. Make sure that you can see the scale button right here, and you're going to turn this on, and you get to choose whatever you want in this case. We're going to basically choose a scale in which we're going to create our chords in. It could be whatever you want. And again, if you don't know music theory, it doesn't really matter, right? So why don't we just choose something random? Let's just say we want to choose the scale of, say, E. And in this case, you're going to have a million options here. A lot of these scales I've never heard of in my life. Don't just ignore them. All you need to worry about is major and minor. Those are the two main scales. And this, all you have to know is this. If you choose major, it's going to be happy sounding. If you choose minor, it's going to be sad sounding. That's it. Major for happy, minor for sad. All you got to do is pick one or the other. Forget about all this stuff down here. We're not classically trained jazz pianists that have been doing this since 1941. All we care about is major and minor. So in this case, I'm going to do E minor. All right, we're going to go for a little dark sound here. Now, as you can see, the piano roll has changed. A lot of things are now orange. So the areas that are highlighted in orange are basically areas that are within the E minor scale. So any notes that you input into those orange regions are going to technically work in that scale, right? So now we can ignore all the ones that are gray. We just focus on the ones that are orange, all right? So from here, we can start composing our chords. Now, the grid is quite divided, right? As you can see, it's divided into 16th. That's a little bit too small. In this case, I'm going to change that. I'm going to right click the grid, just like that. I'm just going to choose, say, half notes, right? So I would like to make chords that are a little bit longer. So let's start, right? And the good thing is Ableton shows us where the root note is. The root note of this scale being E because it's an E minor scale. We can see E right here. As we scroll down, we can see another E. And when you see the E6 and the E5, all it means is that they're an octave apart. So E5 is the same note, it's just lower. Same thing with E4, right? So let's just start with E4. We're just going to double click this right here. Okay, we got our first note. Now let's go. Boom. There's our first chord. Now, as you can see, all I did was click amongst the orange bars, right? And then once I have it there, I'll kind of just click and drag to hear it one by one, make sure I like all the notes. If something sounds off, maybe this one was here, right? Maybe I don't like that so much, so I could move that up here. So you can play around with stuff like that. We can already see it's gotten tremendously easier. This is a little bit too high. I'm going to move this all down an octave. So I have it all selected. I'm going to hold shift and I'm just going to hit the down arrow. Now everything went down an octave. There we go. Now let's keep on adding notes. We can make our chords a little bit more interesting. Boom. Whoops. Right, now we can take out some stuff, right? If we don't want it to be so full. Cool, right? So now we have a nice sounding chord here. It's not some basic triad of 3 notes. It actually has more stuff going on. It sounds a little fancy. Let's go to the next side, all right? Let's make a chord progression. We're not here to make one chord. We're here to make a progression. So that's 1 right there. I'm going to extend this further up so we can see more properly. Okay, let's start here, right? right? Boom. There you go. Within minutes, I now have the beginning of what sounds like a chord progression. And I just randomly clicked on orange tabs by setting the scale, right? And of course, like, you can move this stuff around, right? You can play around. You can try, move that up an octave, right? Let's move this up an octave, right? Experiment, right? Maybe I don't like that top note. I'll get rid of this. Now I can drag these out. Like, maybe I just want those three, okay? Boom. There you go. We now have a basic chord progression. And I can duplicate it. Now I can set my metronome up. And from here, I can start adding more elements to the song. I can add drums, I can add some pads and bass and really start fleshing this out. But you can see how quickly we just came up with an original chord progression without knowing any music theory, aside from coming here, setting up the scale, randomly choosing something, and we did E minor, and from there we just click on those beautiful orange tabs, and voila, stuff starts to sound good. So I find this amazingly helpful. I wish I knew this when I was a beginner, just trying to compose. I really hope this helps you. So if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you want to see next time. And peace out. You can also click that link in the description if you want to get in touch and get coached by us personally. Love you very much. Until next time.